How to interpret Insight Assessment group score reports, and in particular the colorful bar charts, or histograms, which are included as part of that report. Hi, I'm Pete Facione, Senior Researcher at Insight Assessment, and I'll be walking you through this presentation. For each metric that a given test reports, Insight Assessment will provide statistical information about the group's performance and a bar chart or histogram which shows the array of the group's scores. At the bottom of the histogram, the score itself or the metric itself will be described, usually in about 3 or 4 lines of text. For ease of appearance, so you can see the statistics and the bar chart better, we have truncated the description of the overall reasoning score reported here. The information at the top left shows the name of the client, the instrument that was used, and the date that the report was created. If the client has assigned a specific name to this assignment, that is displayed as well. The range of possible scores is displayed along the bottom. In this particular case, the scores can range from a low of 50 to a high of 100. Along the left-hand side, the vertical axis shows the number of scores. The tall yellow line in the very center indicates that more than 216 individuals scored a 76. Qualitative interpretations are suggested with the colors. Red indicating that a score was so low that the skills that were being evaluated were not manifested, and dark blue indicating that the skills displayed by the individual taking the test at that occasion were superior. The table, only 2 rows deep, above the colorful bar chart, displays statistical information. The letter N stands for number. In this case, the number is 2,768, which is the number of people's scores displayed in this chart. For a person's score to be included in this display, two conditions must be satisfied. The person must have answered at least 60% of the questions on the test, and in the case of skills tests like this one, the person must have spent at least 15 minutes working on the test. The score that is the mean of a group is its arithmetic average score. If the group scores are normally distributed, the mean will fall roughly in the middle of the group. The median score is the middle score in a group. In this case, the middle score is 78. There's the same number of individuals who scored higher than 78 as who scored lower than 78. The highest score and the lowest scores are actual scores earned by individuals taking the test. In this case, the lowest was 57 and the highest 99. The range of actual scores is often a little bit shorter than the range of possible scores. In statistics, the word quartile is a marker. In this case, quartile 1 indicates the barrier or the line below which the first 25% of the people in the group would be located. In our case, the quartile 1 marker is the score of 72. The third quartile would be the marker above which another 25% of the people would be located. So it's the 75th percentile. In the case of the scores displayed here, that score above which 25% of the people would be located is 82. Using quartile 1 and quartile 3 as our markers, we can identify the range of scores that is capturing the middle 50% of the people in the group. It's often useful to remember that a percentile represents a person's score as compared to 100 people similar to that person. A percentile is different than a percent correct. A percent correct is, of course, the number of correct answers a person gave on a given test. It is possible, for example, if the test is extraordinarily easy, for many people to get a high number of percent of questions right, but we would still see their percentiles distributing the range of possible rankings from 1 to 100 of all the individuals in the group, even though their scores, percent correct, are clustered close together. If a test is too easy for a group, we'd often see their scores bunching toward the top end of the range of possible scores. And if a test is too hard for a group, we would often see the group scores bunching toward the bottom end or left side of the range of possible scores. Ideally, a test that is exactly right for a group will have a nice distribution of scores across the range of possible scores in something like a pyramid or a bell-shaped curve. And there will be a great deal of variance among the scores, meaning the scores will be spread out along the range, as we see in the image here. One way statisticians have to capture the idea of the variance in a group of scores is to look at a statistic called the standard deviation. The standard deviation is calculated mathematically to show the ways in which scores move away from the mean. In the case that we're looking at, the standard deviation is 6.8. If we take the mean of 77.2 and subtract 6.8, we show one standard deviation below as 70.4. If we take this mean of 77.2 again and add one standard deviation of 6.8, we can see that the one standard deviation above the mean would be a score of 84. Given a normal distribution of scores, looking at the capture group that goes from one standard deviation below the mean to one standard deviation above the mean, in this case scores from 70 roughly to 84, we will be able to represent about 2/3 of the group. If we were to go out another standard deviation in both directions, that would be the range from 2 standard deviations below the mean to 2 standard deviations above the mean, we would capture about 95% of any normally distributed group of scores or individuals. Beyond that range, out beyond 2 standard deviations above or below the mean, on both sides of a normally distributed group would be about 2.5% of the individual scores. Insight Assessment makes available group reports in 2 forms. The first are the histograms and statistical information displays, as you saw earlier in this presentation. The second are spreadsheets. The spreadsheets indicate every individual that took the test and each score on every metric and each demographic response from that individual. Individual reports are also available from Insight Assessment. Clients use individual reports to work with particular test takers, to give them specific feedback on their test scores, and to include information that they might want to use for their own portfolios or in their files. For more information about the scores reported by Insight Assessment and how clients can create their own reports aggregating and disaggregating data across demographic variables and assignments, contact Insight Assessment or visit our website, www.insightassessment.com. Thank you very much.